What's up, my brothers? What's up, my brothers? Hey, yo, welcome to another episode of the Marcus Stewart podcast. As you know, I created this channel to help us, man. This is for us, my brothers. This is for us, for fathers, single men, for all of you out there. This channel is perfect for you. I created this podcast just to speak out to young men, to my age men, to older men, all men of all walks of life. I don't think we have enough support groups and support systems out there for us. So I wanted this channel to be one of those channels that speak out to men to talk about the stuff that we think about, the stuff that we deal with, the stuff that we face, you know. And so today's episode, we talking about single fathers. We talking about being a co-parent father. We talking about how to be a better version of being a father. I don't know if I said that right, but you get what I'm saying. Being better as a father. I'm gonna give you 7 steps today. 7 steps, 7 things to think about that you can implement as you parent your kids. And so if you're thinking about having kids, this is a good episode for you because I'm gonna talk about some things that you probably need to think about or probably need to consider. And for those of us who are parents, this didn't come with a manual, it didn't come with a handbook, but that's why we here to help each other. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna start the episode off. I'm gonna talk about why I wanted to do this episode. Just talking about some of the preliminary things, and then I'm gonna go into the 7 steps. So first, the reason why I did this again, the reason why I wanted to do this episode is because I know a lot of young men who have kids, a lot of people who had kids when I had my kids and after I had my kids, and everybody has their different method of parenting. Everybody's situation is different. Maybe your baby mama a little bit crazier than my baby mama was. You know what I'm saying? Still is, maybe. I don't know. But, but the point is that I know that there are some things that are going to be very similar and the same. And sometimes it's good to just hear from another man and not necessarily from the female co-parent. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they might say some good stuff, but come on, man. I want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got this, you know what I mean? But sometimes they be right. But I think sometimes it's good to hear from, another guy, younger dudes who, I've raised my kids up. And so some of the younger cats, that are raising their kids that are coming along, they got 5-year-olds, they got 3-year-olds, and they ask me certain questions. I'm able to help them. So I thought I would do an episode, just helping young brothers. I don't think we have enough support systems, man, to talk about all of the stuff that us single dads deal with, bruh. Child support, court, the schedules, man. Crazy baby mamas that keep the kids from you, but still getting your child support. How the court is tilted, right? We deal with the injustice, and there's nothing being said, nothing being done. And I think it's just it's messed up, and so I wanted to include some of that into my podcast. And so yeah, so anyway, what here's what I will say. One of the things that I learned about being a parent, being a father, is that God uses fatherhood to grow and mature you. I didn't recognize that, and all of the difficult stages that I went through as far as parenting, it was just there to grow me, to teach me certain things. And these are things I'm gonna share with you today for this episode. So starting out with number 7, um, you need to know that nobody starts off a good parent. We all start off with just good intentions to be good parents. But in the midst of you dealing with so many different things, sometimes you know the child may not get the best version of you. And so number seven has to be, see them as people. See your kids as people, not as kids. See them as little people. See them as a person, not as just a child or just a kid. You know what I mean? I say that because, sometimes when you get done dealing with the court system, when you get done paying your child support, when you get done not seeing them when you want to see them, when you get done dealing with the baby mama drama, if you have any, or maybe she don't have drama, maybe she's not giving you drama, maybe she just making things difficult, or maybe just a situation just fell crazy. And sometimes, when you get done dealing with all of that, And then you have to deal with your kid, your child. Sometimes you can, subconsciously you dealing with the frustrations, but at the same time, you probably unintentionally taking out on the kid. So for those of you who are dealing with that, this is for you. But then I want to talk to those of you who you you probably doing it and not realizing that you're doing it, but just sometimes you can say things that come on, man. I saw the other day, man. I was at Family Dollar, and man, lady just going fed on the kid, man. I mean, cussing the little girl out, man, just talking to her crazy, and I was just like, man, that's messed up, man. And the little girl, she just, she was just standing there taking it because what else could she do? But I say that because I felt disrespected for the little girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, bruh, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we gonna have to catch a square, mama. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt some type of way. You know what I mean? But I think sometimes, it's easy. Now, I don't want to say it like that, but sometimes, you can not consider that just because they little that don't take away from them being a person. You know what I'm saying? They just a little person. Seeing them as people, it makes you respect them. Like one of the things that I don't do with my kids, I don't curse at them. Now I curse, and I may say a couple curse words where they can hear me, so they've heard, a couple words come out of my mouth and be funny. Most of the time I curse when it be funny or like quoting something off the TV or something, but I never curse at them. I never call them names that are not their names. I say you're acting stupid. I don't say you are stupid. I say you're not acting like yourself. You know what I'm saying? I say you're being irresponsible right now. I don't let the F bombs and the B bombs, and I don't call them those kind of names. You know what I'm saying? I need them to know that they deserve respect, And so number 7, seeing them as people, not just as kids, lets them know that they deserve your respect just because you're a mom. Well, let me say dads, because I'm talking to dads right now. Just because you dad, that does not mean that you get to disrespect. You know what I mean? So it's a scripture in the Bible that say, fathers, don't provoke your children to wrath. And so basically what that scripture in the Bible, it means like don't abuse your authority. You know what I'm saying? And so like you can make their life more difficult, but you don't have to do that. Sometimes it don't take all that. You know what I mean? And so like seeing them as people, not just as kids, it kind of reframes, reshapes your mind and the way you handle them, the way you deal with them, the way you talk to them. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing about seeing them as people. It's giving them that respect as a little person. It's giving them that respect. Showing them respect makes them feel special, even when you have to discipline them. I had to learn that. But as I said, we all start off with good intentions, but as you go, you're supposed to be growing and getting better at it. You know what I'm saying? So I used to run like, Lord, make me a better, a better father. And that would be my chant while I'm jogging, amongst other things, right? I'm kind of crazy, but I would chant that. And it's like, certain things would start being revealed to me. Like, I noticed that making certain changes in the way that I handle them, seeing them as people, showing them respect. Even when I discipline them, I could still tell that they received it different because I kept the line and the boundary of respect. One of the things that made me really respect like young people is I used to be into psychology, right? And so I was reading this child psychology book, but bruh, I had so many kids at such a young age. I was like, bro, I'm gonna lose my mind if I don't come to some type of understanding as to how to be, how to handle this, man. So I got this child psychology book and I was reading it because, I was getting them first, third, and fifth weekends. And I want to understand, man, what is going on in the psyche of these kids? And it made me learn to respect them so much because, like, and it says in the book, and you can look it up, bro. Look it up from like ages like before 1 years old, a baby can already tell your facial expressions. They know when you're agitated. They know when you're sad. They can't articulate it, but they know, right? Like 7 months. This child, this baby is already picking up on so many cues. I had no clue, no idea that the baby's brain was doing all of that. And look, I say that, and maybe you did know that, but as fathers, we not even thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? We thinking discipline. We thinking you need to do this. You know, from the womb. You know what I'm saying? But me reading that book, it made me like it made me gain a different type of respect for the little people. You know what I'm saying? For my for my kids, for my children, it made me gain a different type of respect, recognizing like, bro, his mind has really been working, like, you know what I'm saying? Before he could even communicate it, and that's the thing. They brains work faster than their mouths. You know, their brains are working in ways that they can't articulate it. They can't explain it yet. And it just made me, it made me respect them in a different, in a different type of way. And so, number seven, when I say see them as people, see them as little people, not just kids or not just children, it's like it's putting that line of respect there. Just because they little, that does not mean that they don't deserve your respect. So then, it helped me to not speak to them any kind of way. It gave me a certain level of respect to not do certain things around them, right? To let them know that they did deserve my respect. You get what I'm saying? I used to, I used to smoke. But what I would do, I started taking my cigarettes away from them. You know what I'm saying? If I wanted to smoke, I would walk away. Most people don't even think like that. But it made me develop a different type of respect for my little people. You know what I'm saying? Number seven, that's a big one. That's a big one, bro. See them as little people, not just kids, not just little kids, little people. This is a little person. You know what I'm saying? And they deserve your respect, daddy. They deserve your respect. You know what I'm saying? That's why I shared with y'all. I didn't argue around my kids. I didn't raise my voice or curse. I mean, they would hear me curse, right? But I wouldn't let them see me and their moms arguing like that. It's just a certain level of of respect. And back then, when I had drama, and listen, look, take this, bro, because when I had the baby mama drama, one thing I didn't let them do was argue in front of the kids. Say, look, y'all want to kill each other, go outside, murder each other if you want to, but don't do it in front of these children. You know what I'm saying? It's because I had developed a level of respect, and I wanted to put that line of respect there so the kids know they deserve respect. All right, number six, my brother. I don't know if anybody told you this, but being a parent is going to take effort and sacrifice. That's number six. Effort and sacrifice. I know, didn't nobody tell you that, my brother. But in order to be a daddy, it is going to take effort and sacrifice. I never forget this. But the first Christmas I had my son, I was like 16. And look, I would get I would get stuff for Christmas. The first Christmas that I had my son, actually, I had two kids by Christmas that year. I had two kids by Christmas that one year. I didn't get nothing. I'm talking about my brothers got stuff. Everybody got stuff. I got nothing. My kids got all of the stuff. They weren't even old enough to want stuff. Like my daughter was months old. My son was like almost a year. They got everything. You know what? I got nothing. It was that at that point that I realized, like, dang, like my life is over. That's how I felt. But the point is, at that time, I realized, like, dang, it's really not about me no more. Like, it is no longer just about you. I had to learn this because I had a lot of kids at a young age. I'm thankful now because they're grown, but the more kids you have, the less it's about you. The more kids you have, the less it becomes about you, my brother. As a dad, you got to know that it's going to take effort and sacrifice. So you don't have room to be selfish once you have a kid. I say this to a lot of young parents, a lot of young men, because they say everything has changed, right? They say if they still with the girl, some young men, they have families and their girl got pregnant and they had the kid. Look, it's supposed to change because it's no longer about you, right? You got to get that, bro. It's no longer about you. In every walk of life, it is no longer just about you. You don't have room to be selfish anymore. That's why I tell young people, bro, don't be having no kid. Like, let that breathe for a little bit, bro. Like, give y'all time to honeymoon and go and travel. Because once you have a kid, it is no longer. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. It is no longer about you. That kid is a is gonna detour every plan you got, at least for the first 3 years. I'm telling you, it is no longer about you. Effort and sacrifice. If you have a kid and you think that you can be a parent without giving effort to the kid and sacrificing for the kid, you're gonna have good intentions, but you're not gonna be a good parent. Every father knows that he is going to have to put forth effort and make some sacrifices because it's no longer about you anymore. It is now about your little person or persons. Man, look, I know it ain't fair. It is fair because I ain't gonna say it like that, but you you probably should have thought twice before you before you went raw. You probably, you probably should have thought twice before you went raw, my brother. It's not about you no more, dog. It's done. That's a wrap. They ain't give me nothing. And then I'm sitting over there like, man, they really ain't give me nothing. I'm expecting somebody to pull out a present out the backpack or something. Nope. Didn't nobody give me nothing. They gave me a shot because I was feeling some type of way. Nothing. No, you need to know that though. Like, look, I know that nobody tell you that, but look, I'm the man to tell you, bro. It's not about you no more. Like, get out your feelings because it's not about you no more. You done had a kid. Now you got to put your big boy pants on. You gonna have to make a whole lot of sacrifices, bro. A whole lot. The weekends that you know what I'm saying. First thing I learned about having a kid, bro. Weekends done. Dating for the first man. My kid was like 3, and I had 3 kids before I hit 23. Ain't no weekends, bruh. Ain't no girlfriends on the side. Ain't none of that. I waited until I got another girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? But my story. I'm gonna tell you my story another day. But the point is, you gonna have to make some sacrifices when you have a kid. When you have a child or children, it is no longer about you, my brother. You got to get over yourself. You got to get over your feelings. You got to get over that because now you got that little person. You know what I'm saying? And imagine this. Think about this. When you was a kid, right? How it made you feel when one of your parents was selfish and self-centered. You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't asked to be here, but you got to suffer because that parent wasn't even considering you. And that's not everybody's situation. But I just want you to consider the same way you felt in that situation is the same way your little person is gonna feel about you. You know what I'm saying? So, bro, effort and sacrifice. Here's number 5. Look, if you are a parent, you are a young man, you a parent, you're a single dad, you're a co-parent, whatever. Look, when you deal with the kid, you got to learn balance. Balance, balance. What do I mean when I say balance? I mean, you have to be able to have tough love, but then also tender love. You got to be able to have tough love, but also tender love. Like with your child needs everything. It needs the tough love, it needs the tender love, and he needs or she needs everything in between. They need all of it. But you have to balance it. Why do I say that? Because the mistake sometimes that fathers make is we think that we are just there as the disciplinarian, or if you got girls, you are just there as the fun parent. But they need to see balance. They need to see tough love and also tender love. I say that to you, my brother, because too much of one is not good for the kid. Too much of one or the other does is not good. Too much tough love, and you get a kid that shuts down. You get a kid that doesn't open up to you. You get a kid that's distant as they get older. You get a kid that's one ear and out the other as they get older. If it's too much tender love, you get an out of control kid that don't know how to when it's time to stop. They don't know the boundary. They don't know the line. They don't know the limit. So they always crossing it. They doing too much. They acting the fool because there is no balance, my brother. You have to have balance as you deal with your child. You have to have tough love, but then you also have to have tender love. You got to know sometimes when they crying, yeah, you got to get on them sometimes. But then sometime when they crying, you got to go and give them a hug. You know what I'm saying? Sometime when they mess up at school, yes, you gotta let them know what they did was wrong. Sometimes you supposed it's for you to say, bro, what's going on with you, man? Like, why you acting like that? What's up with you? You know what I'm saying? Don't be like, bro, you like me, bro. I'm finna go get the belt is the answer for everything. The switch is the answer for everything. A pop, bro. I'm telling you. But when they was young, come on, man. Look, you can ask my brothers, bro. We finna. Oh, you doing what? Oh yeah, ain't no question. You know you about to look. Ain't no question. No question. I'm about to tighten you up. But I had to learn sometime that I'm not gonna say it don't help. I'm gonna say sometime what would help more is by me sitting down having conversation. Once I got that, it was a game changer. Like sometimes they don't need a whooping. Sometimes they need to be heard. They need to be listened to. And then the behavior change. The first time I tried that and the behavior changed without me whooping them, I was like, wow, you know what? I may need to try this a little bit more. That's not to say I threw the belt away. Oh no. I gotta tighten you up every now and then. But you get my point. There needs to be a balance, right? It needs to be a balance. Like they need to know when they make a mistake, but they also need to know that you are proud of them when they do well. They need to know, when they slip it, but they also need to know when they doing a good job. And you as their daddy, they look to you for balance. They look to you for balance. Like you shouldn't just be the one talking to them whenever they do something wrong. You should be the one talking to them, especially when they do things right too. You shouldn't just be fussing at them all the time. Every time they see you, you shouldn't be angry or mad or upset. They gotta see balance. Like as a father, they are looking to you for balance. They are looking to you to be able to know when. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of them things. Like you really got to pray for that because that's like you could miss it. It's a hit or miss. That's one of them parenting things that kind of it's in the gray area, but you really got to pray on that. But you get the point. The point is like you gotta have balance. Balance. Not just coming in to talk to you when you do something bad at school, but let me just talk to you to see what's going on with you. Like what's going on in your world? What kind of stuff you into? One of the things that I do is I try to take time. Like I get them all at the same time, right? But I try to take time with each one of them individually. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just to hear what's going on so that I'm not just addressing you when you do bad. You get what I'm saying? So like, of course, mama's gonna call me or the school gonna call me when something ain't right. But I'm talking to you at other times too. We watching football together. We playing the game together. We doing other things besides me just jumping on you when you do something bad. It needs to be balanced. You know what I'm saying? Like my boys, my girls, they know when it's time to stop playing. I'm gonna check your chin, but they also know I can show you, I can give you a hug. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I can give you a hug. Sometimes you need to know you need to stop. You tripping right now. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes they need to hear that, but I'm saying there needs to be a balance. As a father, they need balance. All right. Here's number four. Number four, as a father, you are a parent. Let me look. You are multiple things. You are not just daddy, right? You are a parent, you daddy, you the protector, you the therapist, you the referee, you are the teacher. You are everything, my brother. You the chef, you the doctor, you everything. Look, I want us to normalize this. Fathers being by themselves with their children. You are there to be you are multifaceted. You have to be multifaceted as a dad. You have to be able to do multiple things. The only thing I can't do is comb hair. Boy, let me tell y'all something. If they mamas know this, I can do everything. I can cook. I got the band, I got everything. I got the band-aids, I got the peroxide, I got everything you need. I got extra clothes over here, extra socks. It took me a while to get there. But when it comes to that hair, oh, oh, it's gonna be a terrible sight if I do it. I'm trying though. I'm trying. But the point is, you got to be multifaceted. You got to be multifaceted. It takes a lot from you. You got to be a lot of things sometimes at the same time, especially if you got if you got a bunch, if you got more than one child in the house at the same time with you by yourself, bruh, you got to be the referee a lot. You got to be the peacemaker a lot. You got to be the person that calm the house down, calm the house down, look at it down, calm the house down. You got to be the chef, right? You got to be the everything all at the same time. And you can't let that overwhelm you. You know what I'm saying? You need patience. Look, here's the thing. This is a joint. That was 4A. This is 4B. You are the teacher. You are their teacher, not just the talker, but the teacher. The difference with that is that's why I say you need patience because you're multifaceted. You're gonna be being a lot at the same time, but then you also a teacher too. Because look, I used to get frustrated when I tell them something and then they don't get it, or they say they get it and they get it, and then when it's time for them to do it, they don't do it. Now I feel like I got to whoop your behind, but I had to learn this. The difference is, a talker, you say it, but as a teacher, it's repetitive. Like you got to go over it and go over it and go over it again until it starts to take. And then you know what? This the truth of it. Some stuff ain't gonna catch until they get 25. You been that no, bro. I know. I do. You've been saying it since they were 12. They 20, they still ain't got it. It'll probably catch by the time they get 24, 25. Some of that stuff you teaching them, you just that you're gonna need a lot of patience, bro. Because as a teacher, you going over it and you going over it, and you're gonna have to repeat yourself. I used to think like, man, why I gotta keep saying the same that, bro? You know what? I hate this, man. My dad used to say this kind of stuff to me, and I'm thinking like, why he always be saying that, bro? Like, I just forgot. And now, me as a dad, why do I have to say the same thing over and over? I'm tired of saying the same thing. Oh, come on, bro. You know how it is, bro. You saying it, you saying it, but it's like, bro, you ain't getting it, or you intentionally not getting it. Now you just playing on my top, right? You want to go there, but nah, bro. Look, that's a part of it, man. That's a part of it. Being a daddy, you gotta say it over and over and over and over and over, and then you gotta show them over and over. And, bruh, you gotta teach. Teacher, you are a teacher. 4B is you are a teacher. Dad, you are a teacher, my brother. You got to teach him again and again. You got to say it again and again. You got to show him again and again. Sometimes you're going to have to punish him again and again. You're going to have to discipline him again. And you're going to have to go to that school again and again. I'm just telling you because, didn't nobody tell me that. I thought I was losing my mind. I thought they was just tripping, but no, parents understand. You going to have to do it multiple times. Multiple times. I can't tell you how long it took for my kids to understand. Don't walk around while you in church. I would pop them, and they do it again next Sunday. I gotta pop you again, and they do it again the next Sunday, and I gotta pop them again until they finally start to get it. Maybe I shouldn't walk, and I won't get popped. I don't know what makes them do it. They just do it. I don't know. Maybe it's God's way of getting you back for all of the time that you wasn't supposed to do stuff and you did it anyway. And mama had to whoop you or daddy had to catch you or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But you are the teacher, my brother. Father, you are not just a father. You are a plethora of things. And to settle that, you are the teacher. You're gonna have to go over it and over it and over it and over it again, right? Now, here's something else with being a teacher, bro. Look, game changer right here. You teach them sometimes without saying. You teach them with your actions, bruh. I look. This a real one. You teach them not just with showing them over and over, right? Not just by talking to them, but by what you do or don't do. You know what I'm saying? Like you teach them that they can depend on you, or you teach them that they can't depend on you. You teach them, you know what I'm saying, that you are the person to come to with the stuff, or that you're not the person to come to with the stuff. You know what I'm saying? And they know. It's like you teach them stuff without even teaching them. And this is why, one of those things about just being present, being in their life, you're teaching them something just by you being there. I'm gonna get to that one though. But You know, you teach them when I teach like one time I would tell my kids I would get mad because when they come over here, you know where your shoes go. Why you always why you leaving your shoes in the middle of the floor? You know where your pants go. Why is your stuff scattered everywhere? And then, one time my son see me take my shoes off and he like he didn't say nothing. He just pointed because you know how parents are. But my thing is I felt like, at first I was, daddy, like, you don't tell me what to do. But then at the same time, in my mind, I'm thinking, how can I tell him to do something, right, that I'm not doing myself? And it's like, I can't get mad at him for leaving his clothes because I leave my clothes, you know what I'm saying? But then when I started picking it up, when I started putting my stuff where it's supposed to go, when I started doing that, like, without me saying it, it's kind of like they fell in line, you know what I'm saying? Like your actions teach them stuff, bruh. It teach them stuff, and that's a real thing. That's a really real thing. Like your actions teach them stuff. You got to know that. Teaching takes time, so you need patience. It's not just talking. It's showing them over and over and over and over again. And it's gonna take time. And you gotta you gotta have the patience for that. Like you gotta pray. Parenting is a lot of praying, I'm telling you. You got you're gonna need it, my brother. Yeah, you teach them by your actions, by what you do. You put in practice things that you want them to see. Like I always say that I be what I want to see. I be what I want to see them do. You know what I'm saying? Like I do it. Here's something else when it comes to teaching them. Apologize to them when you are wrong. When I say you're a teacher, you're teaching them to be accountable for their actions. That's a really big one. That would be 4C. Apologize to them when you are wrong because it teaches them to be accountable. It teaches them accountability. If you can apologize when you're wrong, if you can take accountability when you're wrong as dad to them, you can hold them accountable when they're wrong. You know what I'm saying? And it's just it's one of those unspoken things. You know what I'm saying? Most now I'm not gonna say most. Some fathers they stick their chest out with that authority, like you can't tell me this, or I don't have to apologize, or sometimes some fathers we don't know how to just say my bad. You know what I'm saying? My bad, I was tripping, bro. Like I was tripping. I shouldn't have said that. You know what I'm saying? I remember one time I said damn to my son. Like we was having a heated exchange, and I said damn. And I made my point, but at the same time, when I got done, I was like, you know what, son? Look, I want to apologize to you. I meant what I said, but I shouldn't have said damn. You know what I'm saying? And that may seem real small to somebody else, but to me, that's a big thing because I need him to know I'm gonna hold you accountable the same way I hold myself accountable. And I gotta humble myself when I'm wrong. I meant what I said though. Don't get it twisted. I meant what I said because he was tripping, but I shouldn't have said it that way. You get what I'm saying? So like apologizing when you wrong lets them see that you hold yourself accountable and it makes it easier to hold them accountable. You get what I'm saying? So like, you are a plethora of things. You are a teacher. Teach them to be accountable by apologizing when you're wrong. All right. That was a lot for number 4. Here's number 3, which goes along with that. They do deserve an explanation when you don't do what you said that you would do. I want you to know that this is not about the female co-parent right here. This is all about you and your relationship with your child, because what you do is when you don't give them an explanation, you say you're not important enough. You get what I'm saying? Look, I had to learn this. What I'm saying this to you, but I had to learn it because most parents they never address when they intentionally or unintentionally can't do what they said that they would do. But it teaches them, it says to them that they are not important enough. Forget the co-parent, forget the female co-parent. I'm talking about you and your relationship with your child. They need to know that they are important to you. You show them that they are important to you by giving them the explanation. Say some people say, now I've gotten into it with fathers about this. I shouldn't have to explain myself to no child. He a child. Yeah, okay, I got you. But that's damaging y'all's relationship. They say, I don't care. Well, let it be damaged. Fine. Look, if it don't apply, let it fly. I'm gonna say, for me, I have always, if I say I'm gonna pick you up on this day, I'm gonna pick you up on this day. If I say we gonna do this, we gonna do it. And if we can't, I'm gonna say to you, Say, bro, we can't do that this week. We're gonna have to do it next week. Oh, why this, why that? Something came up. I ain't got the money this week, or blah, blah, whatever. But I give them that type of level of respect because I feel like they do deserve the explanation. They are important enough for me to say, I can't do this. Maybe I may tell them the whole reason why, not the other reason why. But if I said we was gonna do it, that's again accountability. Simple number three. All right, here's number two. We get into the good stuff now. Here's number two. If you are a parent, get this, my brother. Fathers, be in every moment. Presence does not mean you are present. Being present does not mean that you are present. I hope you get that. Just because you are in the house does not mean that you are in the house. When I say be in every moment, I'm gonna give you an example. So I get my kids first, third, and fifth, right? Sometimes I get them in between that, just because if they're out of school or something, I may get them a little early, whatever. I spend a lot of time with them. But so sometimes when I have work to do here on the computer. I have work to do for the church. My regular job is my regular job. I have study time that I have. And then when I'm not on that, I be on my phone. So here's the thing. One time I'm sitting in here, I'm doing my work at my desk, I'm on my phone, but every 2 seconds my daughter's coming in here. My little baby, she's coming in here. My other daughter, she's coming in here. My sons are calling me, that blah blah. And I got frustrated. I was like, y'all, I'm trying to work. And then I thought about it. They not gonna be here on Monday. You could do this on Monday. They wasn't here yesterday. You could have did this yesterday. But while they're here, take advantage of the time while they're here. And I don't want to be one of those kind of parents that just in the house, but not in the house, if that makes sense. And I recognize, right, what they were doing, it was frustrating, but in their own way, it was bringing me into the moment that is here right now. And I stopped getting frustrated once I closed my computer, I put my phone down, and I started addressing everything that they asked. And the things that they were asking for, it wasn't mean, it wasn't bad, it wasn't negative, it wasn't nothing. They wanted, get this, my attention. That's a game changer right there. Number two, be in every moment when you are with them because you don't have a lot of time with them. If you are a co parent, they want your attention. And sometimes they'll act out to get your attention. They'll do things to get your attention. When I say be in every moment, not on your phone, put your phone down. Leave it on ring just in case if it's an emergency, but be in the moment with them. They want your time. As a father, you don't know what it does to your child when you just give them your undivided attention. Like, I had to learn that the most powerful thing I can give my children was my attention, dedicated time. I set time aside. I used to do gigs, right? And man, this one weekend I made a whole lot of money. But the thing is, I had them and they were with me, right? But we didn't get to spend no time together. And then when they left, I was like, man, I felt so bad. I was like, you know what, guys, from now on, I'm not taking no gigs on the weekends that y'all are here. That's a sacrifice that I made. Going back to the other thing I talked about earlier, that's one of the sacrifices that I made. And if I take a gig, it's gonna be one gig on one of the times, either when y'all, it's I just resolved to not take any because I don't want nothing taken away from my time. I want to be present in the moment. Because you don't have a lot of time, you want to make sure all of the time counts. And you don't want to be one of those parents that's just there. You here with them, but you ain't here with them. You in your phone, you doing everything else you got to do. Like, nah, spend that time. And of course, that don't mean you sitting there looking at them, they looking at you the whole time. No, do stuff together. Watch a movie, take them to the park, do stuff with them together. Just do stuff with them. Bake stuff, cook stuff. I don't know. But the point is be in every moment that you are with them. Your presence doesn't mean you are present. Be here now. What could you do to be here now? All right. And here's last but not least. Last but not least. This is the number one thing right here. You, the female co-parent, and God are raising your child. Number one, include God in your fatherhood. You need God on so many levels. There are so many variables to being a co-parent. There are so many unknown, unseen things to being a father, especially when the child don't live with you and y'all live in two separate houses. There are so many variables that are happening when the child is with you, when the child is not with you. Things that you tell them and teach them. You don't know if it's gonna stick or not. You don't know if it's gonna stay in their mind. That's why you need God as a father, bro. You really do. Nothing like nothing is gonna impact your relationship with your child like you recognizing that you need God to help you to be a father. You do. You need God to help you. Sometimes you're gonna want to be mad, but then God is gonna be like helping you to calm down. Sometimes you're gonna want to fuss, then God is gonna help you like let's say that a different way. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you probably gonna flare up and want to do one thing, but then like God help you to or he give you wisdom to see certain stuff like okay, I see like he normally acting this way, but just make you pay attention to other stuff. Then sometimes you'll say something, right? And not recognize that it's gonna reverberate in your child's mind while they're not there. But that's not you, that's God doing that. You know what I'm saying? I can't stress that enough. God helps you as a father dealing with your child and dealing with the female co-parent. You need God to help you. And the reason why I say that is because you need to know, like you don't know it all, bro. They don't come with a manual. Like being a father don't come with a manual. Being a father don't come with a handbook. Like being a father, we sometimes you don't have no mentors to talk to about stuff with the baby and stuff having a new 8-year old or having a new 5-year old having a teenager. That's a whole nother conversation within itself. But you need God. Do your best and let God do the rest. What you can't do, God would help you do. And this what I say, what you can't do. That's why I say do your best. I didn't say what you won't do. Because there's some stuff that you can do, but you just don't do. I'm saying do your best. Do the best that you can do as far as being the father. And then God will do the rest. God will help you do what you can't do. There were so many times that I couldn't do certain things. And my job, he helped me. You know what I'm saying? To think that you can be a parent without God is I don't know. Like God makes all of the difference. My job, he makes all the difference as a father, my brother. So you need him, right? And so look, guys, look, that's it for this episode. I want to say, man, look, if you a new father, congratulations. It's the best thing. It's the hardest thing, but it's a worthwhile journey. If you do your best at it, you'll see, man, you will raise, man, some great people. That's the best thing I can tell you about being a father is when you look back after you've done the best you can after 18 years or 20 years or 25 years, and you see that they've grown up to be not perfect people, but just good people. Nothing like that. Good, responsible young men and women. Nothing like the feeling, man, of knowing you helped raise this awesome person. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, it's a great feeling. So look, all y'all fathers out there, this is the channel for you. I created this channel for us. This channel is for us, helping us along on our journey, man. We need each other. We need help. And I wish I would have had a channel, somebody to help me, somebody to help me navigate being a new parent or having kids like that. So yeah, man, that's you know, hopefully this episode was enjoyable for you, was enjoyable for me. Just sharing the information, bro. Share this with a new dad. Share this with a single parent. Share this with a co-parent. I got a lot of good episodes just for us fathers. You know what I'm saying? So stay tuned. Stay in touch. Yeah, man. Email me, guys. I encourage you to email me. I got an email today. Yeah, man. Good brother. He gonna be talking about some stuff about men and child support and single fathers and stuff like that, man. So yeah, don't let this be the last time you watch, man. Subscribe so you can see every time I upload a video, new episodes every Friday. Email me. I'm gonna leave it in the comments box below. Marcus Stewart at tgmchurch.org. Email me, man. Questions, topics. If you want to be on the show, email me. Or if it's something that you want me to talk about, email me. If you got questions, email me. If you disagree, email me. Like, look, I ain't gonna read it if it's a bunch of cussing, man. Come on, I ain't gonna read that. If it's funny though, I might read it, but but nah. Email me, man. If you want to be a part of I do a men's Bible study once a week. You want to be a part of that? You do all that by just sending me a email. So with that, man, that's all I got for you, man. I'll see y'all next week. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Again, send this to somebody who gonna need it, man. Y'all have a good one.